Hey, so if you're anything like me, you got sausage fingers. And if you have sausage fingers, then it might be hard to play chords way up here. But you just got to keep on practicing. I got sausage fingers, so this chord right here is going to give me a little trouble. This is called a D major. I kind of forgot what the name of it was. D major 7 chord, I think. It's one of those Bob Ross PBS special type chords. I think of the train on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. When I was a kid, that train would come on and I would hear the music, and they always play that weird jazzy stuff, which I'll be honest with you, I really don't like it. I find chords like that, I don't know what it is about chords like that. Like, it makes me think of the girl from Ipanema or whatever that song is. And I know there's probably people out there sitting out there saying, why limit yourself? Why not learn how to play all kinds of cool stuff? And it's just my preference. I'm a rock and metal guitar player, and I like to play a lot of dyad type chords, 2-note chords, and a lot of stuff that single note run lines and things like that. And just when I play leads, I like to play leads over stuff like that. So it's just me. It doesn't mean I'm not learning. I like to learn all kinds of cool stuff, but the same thing that I say when I teach, I say learn as much as you can, put all of it in your vocabulary, have it all in your bag of tricks. You never know when you going to want to pull it out. Go back to the movie Crossroads, right? The one with Steve Vai and Ralph Macchio, and think about how he loved the blues, right? He wanted to play the blues, and he spent all his time learning the blues. But to go to school, he got into the school where he learned all of the classical licks. But he really wanted to play the blues. And then what wound up happening was the thing that he learned that he didn't really want to play, that's what got him out of the jam at the end, right? Was he played the classical licks. And hopefully you're not looking at me saying, why did you just ruin the movie for me? The movie came out in the 80s. If you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault. Okay, so this chord right here, which whatever I said this chord was, is going to be something that you could use over the 6th shape of your A minor scale. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, that doesn't sound minor. But it gravitates back towards the minor. We go back to the chords that we use in this minor scale. We got that one, then we got this weird sounding Locrian chord, right? I'm not used to playing that one either. Then we got your major, right? Then we got the next one, which goes into the Dorian mode. Okay. Then we're going to Phrygian. Now we're going to go into this one with my sausage fingers. Okay, and this is going to be your Lydian, which is found within your Phrygian. So your Phrygian was here. If you go back to the previous lesson, you'll see how I mapped out the Phrygian. This one we're going to map it out over this chord, and it's going to sound like this. It's the same notes that we played when we mapped out Phrygian, except we're starting on the 11th fret of the 6th string instead of the 10th fret. So instead of playing 10, 11, 12, or 10, 11, 13, 10, 11, 10, 11, 13, 10, 12, 13, 10, 12, 13, we're just going to start out playing on the 6th string. We're going to play 11, 13, then we're going to go to the 5th and the 4th strings, and we're going to play 10, 12, 13, 10, 12, 13, like that. And then when we get to the 3rd string, we're going to play 10, 12, and then 10, 11, 13, 10, 11, 13 on your 1st and your 2nd strings. So again, this is the Lydian mode, played over that weird, funky little chord there, which is like the opposite of a E chord or like a E-shaped bar chord. You could even use an E-shaped bar chord, right? You could use, what is that? That is your D sharp, right? That's your D sharp. So that right there, we could use that. We can use that just fine. But I just want to give you something else to play with. I got to play with it too. But something that I want to share in this lesson that I've talked about in previous lessons, but you may have not seen it, is that you practice, and they say practice makes perfect, but practice doesn't make perfect. Everybody's got weaknesses. Everybody's got strengths, right? You want to play to your strengths and you want to work on your weaknesses. And when I teach, and that's one of the things I often say, is that even though in a lot of these lessons that I do on YouTube, I heavily edited them because I had tried to edit out the mistakes. But a lot of times I just leave the mistakes in. I had some guy in a previous lesson tell me I need to work on my legato, and he ain't wrong. I mean, that's something I probably need to work on. Now, when I'm teaching a lesson and my legato's sloppy or my playing sloppy or something like that, I'll probably leave it in, because at the end of the day, that's not the point. The point is not to impress you with my playing, because if that's what it takes, like if you got to be really impressed with my playing for you to come and pay attention to my lessons, then that's not what I'm here for. Okay, I know there's a lot of guys out there who are like that, but they're also doing this full time. I work a full-time job. This is something that I'm doing for fun and just enjoying myself and everything like that. And if it becomes something, then that's awesome, and I can devote more time to it. Then I'll become a much better player, and then I'll impress you, and then maybe I'll inspire you more. But if that's the person you are, you got to be impressed before you could take a lesson from somebody. Then my lessons probably aren't for you. But if you're realizing that, hey, this guy has some interesting ways of looking at things, and maybe I check him out, maybe I do learn some stuff from him, then I'm here for you, right? I put out a lesson every single week on YouTube. If you want to stay updated on when I put things out, either on YouTube or on my Patreon, sometimes I go live on my other channel and just pick up the guitar and go too. And I've only done that one time so far, but by the time this comes out, I might have done it a few more times. And when I do go live, and when I do put out YouTube lessons, and when I do send out Patreons and things like that, I will shoot you an email, okay? So if you sign up for my email list at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com, then once you're on my email list, you'll get notified when I put those things out, when I'm doing things like that. But I also send you a free course. So it's a win-win. You get a 7-day free course where I teach you how to unlock the fretboard, teach you how to understand the scale shapes and all those things. And if you're a fan of my channel, you probably heard me say that a billion times. But hey, how do I let people know about it if I don't let people know about it, right? So just pickuptheguitarandgo.com, get my free course, like, subscribe, and share. Check that out. I got a couple more lessons on the minor scale, and once these micro lessons are over with, we'll be heading into season 2 of my main YouTube channel here, and I got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so be sure to check it out.